Welcome to Crazed Performance Repair. If you've been keeping up, we are quite a ways down the episode chain now, and I have concrete poured in the background here. Let's talk about what happened, why it happened, and where my situation went sour pouring that wall. Stay tuned. Holy crap, was that intense. I worked so hard when they started pouring. I don't think I've ever worked that damn hard because the forms started to move. Now, I don't know if I got video or not. The camera shut off at some point during the whole event, but I did not have any time or care to even look at what the camera was doing because this was a riot. So, what happened? What went wrong? What did I screw up? This is my first wall in concrete that I was doing, and I screwed up, that's for sure. What did I screw up? Well, the reinforcement. You can see how crooked this is right here. That's because the wall was held on that board there, but this area here, that did not hold, nor did down there. You can see I have my snap-on pry bar in there. That was a desperate attempt to keep that wall from bowing out. It is tipped out on the bottom. That's actually okay because it'll be at a slant, which, you know, having it at a slant like this is not so bad. So, what else happened? Well, all the weight from that concrete, the instant I took this thing and shoved it in there and hit the vibrate, this just poof right out. It almost blew out completely and caused a big problem. But it's too much weight. I mean, I had the rebar in there. You can see some of the rebars in there, like that one there. They all just started bending out of the way. I ended up having to rush. I was outside there. You can't see the saw from here. I was outside there cutting rebar, running, jumping through this door, running in, pounding it in as the guy was bringing the cement along. That way I could keep this thing from bowing out too badly. I saved the job, barely. I had to, everything I could, everything in me came out to try and save this job. You can see I got two rebar next to each other there, one there, one there. I ended up with at least double the rebar that I originally ended up with. Even in a desperate attempt here, you can see I grabbed this pipe and I just slammed that pipe into the ground. I used my big 20-pound maul to put the pipe in. That looks like it held better than anything. I could see a bow that goes around that pipe. So what I should have been using are pieces of pipe because they're more rigid than the rebar is. The rebar is not near rigid enough. Holy crap, was that a mess. I hope I got enough of that footage for you guys to see how badly I was running around like just a psychotic crazy man. I was just going crazy. And of course, I had to still have time to trowel this. It's really hot now because it's still curing. This is, I don't know, 4 hours later, maybe 5 hours later. But it's still curing. It's plenty hot. And then what I had left over until it was too hard to work with and I was running out of time with, you know, everything that was going on, I put a little bit here to kind of help me with my setup for around that barrel. So, you know, I told you I need to put the frame around here. When I put the frame around here, I'm going to use that concrete to my advantage. I can drill into it once it's hard enough and actually poke little rebar nubs into it and then weld the rebar to the square tubing. That way when I go to pour in here, I can put a board alongside the square tubing and just screw the board into the square tubing. And then when I remove it, it'll be formed around that piece of square tubing that I put in, and it'll fit nice and perfectly. It'll work really well. Much better than that did because this is only going to be, 6 to 8 inches of thickness. Actually, probably only 4 to 6 there because I already have a little bit around the barrel there. But that area is going to be much easier because there's not going to be near the same amount of pressure against that board. And I'm still going to reinforce it probably what I did there, but with a lot less pressure on it. I'm a little concerned about the disaster of the stairway though. So this thing bowed out pretty bad. I ended up with a big gap there. Now it's going to be really goofy looking when I pull off these forms tomorrow morning. But what I'm hoping is while the concrete's soft, I might be able to take a chisel and kind of chisel away the goofiness part of it and kind of still make a square stairway. It won't be as nice a finish as that's going to be, even though that's not the best finish either because I ran out of time. But hopefully it'll be reasonable. And it really doesn't matter anyway because later on I'm going to cut that wall out and I'm going to refinish the concrete that's right on there anyway. I might tile it or something fancy to make a nice stair out of it. Who knows what the hell I'll end up doing. Regardless, that was a bit on the too exciting side for me. I am beat and I am ready for bed. I will see all you in the morning because I'm done. I'm done for the day. Time for bed. See you in the morning. Good morning. So, it's the next morning, obviously. Boy, what a temperature swing from yesterday. I feel a lot better. I got some sleep. I cleaned up. Not so sweaty and disgusting. Boy, did I have a ruckus yesterday, as I was just explaining on my previous little clip there. I have already started this morning with kind of taking some of the forms off here. I got the first board off. I got a bunch of the braces. Actually, I got pretty much all the braces off. There's a couple left over there. I do have a little bit to go here. I want to give you guys a kind of a picture here of what happened. And, you know, you couldn't see it in that fast forward video clip, but this wall moved a lot. So we'll give you a little bit of a visual here. So you see the gap right here? This gap that I can stick my finger all the way into, that's how much it moved right over on this side of the wall. Now, this side of the wall should not have moved very much, considering this board is screwed to that board is screwed to that is screwed to the wall. So the top of this should not have moved very much, but it definitely did. It pushed out the bottom so much that the top pushed out a little bit, and it literally split the board right here. That's how much pressure this has. Now, we're going to move over a little bit. Look at that wall. So you can see how it goes out, then goes back in, then goes out. That is because of that big pipe there. That pipe is causing it to hold a lot better in that spot. Hindsight's 20/20, right? I wished I would have used pipe the whole way. Maybe not quite as heavy a pipe, but if I had used pipe the whole way, I wouldn't have had the issue to begin with. So this wall is going to have a little bit of a funky spot right where that pipe is because the pipe held it so much better than the rest of it did. You can see the rebar I have in there now. Originally, I had used, let's see here, rebar about this long, right? So it's like, I don't know, a foot long. You can kind of see the wet area here. So it was in the ground that far. Now, I do not have very much gravel over there, so the gravel is only, piddles compared to how much is actually in the dirt. And I did that kind of on purpose because I knew that dirt/clay that's over there is a lot stronger, and putting it in gravel wouldn't have stood a chance of holding it. I was hoping that the clay would be strong enough, but apparently it's obviously not with such a short one. And these are the size of bar. I don't know if you can, there we go. So it comes from here all the way over to that end over there. And that is the size of bar. I ended up pounding it additionally on top of it. And you can kind of see how I had put those in there. So all the taller ones, there's one there, there's one there, there's one there. All those taller ones, those are the ones that were the additional longer ones. And you can see how many of them I put on this side. So actually this one, that little guy there, that's also a longer one too. That one was just kind of a random one I had laying around. So I put two long ones on the end. I added two there. I added one there. I added one there. There, and I put a crap ton of them over here because I knew this section of wall was going to be a problem as soon as we started that section of wall. What I should have done was put this big pipe over here on the end and then used a bunch of rebar over here, or maybe even put the rebar or the pipe right there. I don't know. However, I was unable to do that because he was pouring this section of wall. When I had that pipe, I did not have enough rebar cut when I did it. So I threw that pipe in there, and that's kind of how it ended up. Now, we'll go ahead and look right over here once. See that bowage that's going on? You can see where the pipe is clearly holding it, and the rest of it's bowed out. Let's go ahead and get the form off here and take a look at what I am going to be working with and how crooked it's going to look. Now, I'm in hopes that that area that's all bowed out won't be seen too much because it's on the very bottom half, and the concrete floor is going to go a little above the form. So the part that's bowed really bad is about the halfway point down, and I'm gonna go between the bottom and the halfway point. So hopefully it'll kind of cover up the fact that it's so wavy, but let's just go ahead and tear it down and figure it out. You can see I've done a lot of work since the last video you guys seen. We have a lot of rebar in here. I have a box over there. That is to go around that drain there, so I can create a nice area for accessing the drain hole, or the catch basin, if you will. Yeah, I'm no pro at concrete, but I certainly can get some things done. So, I had a bit of a screw up here. As I explained, I'm going to be fixing all this stuff, the stuff that's fixable. So, you know, like the wall popping out in some areas I can't fix. That corner over there, it's at a goofy angle. I can fix that. I don't know if I'm going to waste the time or not. It depends on how it looks after I get the floor in. So what's going to happen is this floor is going to be really thick, right? And I'm doing that for many reasons, of course. I want to not only have a really strong floor that does not have any problems, but I also want to get it at a certain height, and by bringing it up a little ways, I'm going to be able to make up for the fact that that concrete is so screwed up. So here's kind of the plan here, is to bring the floor up high enough to make sure I get a little bit above this. It's a little more than I want above this. This piece here, I only wanted to be maybe a couple inches above it, maybe 3 max. 3 would be about here. I'm going another ½ inch to an inch more than I originally wanted to do at the max. Now, the reason I'm doing that is kind of because of the way the wall is bumped out and just stupefied from my own lack of support on this wall form that I put in. Now, there's a lot of air pockets and stuff in here too. That I can fix later on, or doll up later on. It's kind of, I might doll it up anyway. My thought pattern here is either take some just mortar with sand and do a surface coat over this, and it'll take care of any of the holes, the pockets and stuff. That's not a big deal. Or what I'm more prone to doing is doing some of that to straighten out these crooked areas. This one might take a small form, but then tile the whole works. Because tile would look absolutely incredible in here if I were to tile the walls and do like an epoxy floor. For now, the reason I'm lifting this up as high as it is because most of the inconsistent portion where you can visually see that it's crooked is at the bottom section of this. So if I bring the floor up a little bit, it's going to hide a lot of the inconsistencies. This is one that I will not be able to hide, but it will reduce the visual effect on the eyes that you see this as being as crooked as it is, because it's way farther in down here than what it is up here. So if I kind of bring it up a little closer to the higher spot, it's going to look a little bit better. One of the areas that bringing the floor up this high is going to really help with is over on this side here. Over here, this part separated from the boards down here, and I had another spot over there that it did that too. It literally sheared the screws off. There was so much pressure on this portion of the form that the 2x4 that was down here, the screws that were holding the form to the 2x4 sheared off. I used little bitty sheetrock screws to hold it in. Hindsight's always 20/20, right? I should have used something much bigger than sheetrock screws. The sheetrock screws just don't quite have the shear strength, considering there's only, I think, 3 per section of form, so 4-foot section. 3 to 4, I can't remember. But there's only so many for that little section of form. It just doesn't have the strength to hold up. So the form popped out here. The floor level will be coming to here. That's going to hide this goofy section. It'll also double as a way to lock the floor into place, because there's no way it's going to go up or down with this big ledge of concrete right here. And then, of course, it's going to be locked into here too. Well, I have a slab poured. It looks awesome. And I have to give a huge thank you to the locals around here. Where I used to be in Minnesota, it's kind of a thing. You would start working on a project like this, and you would get to working on it, and your neighbors would just be, you know, we're here, we're watching what you're doing. Yep, there you are, doing your work. Here, it's a totally different environment. I start working on this project, they come over, they're, what you doing, what you doing? You know, they're checking it out, and they need any help. Hey, I know so-and-so, this person can help, that person can help, contact this person. Or they would come over and be like, hey, I want to help, what can I do? The people that came over, they were actually, the guy that was in the gray, the older guy in the gray, he was the ex-owner of the cement company here, and he's absolutely awesome, beyond helpful. He did not ask for anything. I tried offering something, he denied it, and basically, long story short, he's just like, give me advice on my 2 older cars when I go to start restoring them, and that's all he wants. And I thought, well, that's no problem. Car guy, no problem, I'll help him out. So, I'm going to help him out with his car. He helped me out with the cement. He's going to help me out with the rest of the cement. He had all the fancy equipment to make it the way I want it. I can't say and thank him enough. Also, the cement pumper truck guy, he was pretty awesome too. He helped out more than he normally would need to, just because he's trying to help, you know. I'm new to the community, and they're hoping I'm sure they're hoping I'm gonna be able to help them out in the community as well, and I will be more than willing to help them. So kind of a different environment here. You help me, I help you environment, versus Minnesota. It's like, I'm not gonna help you, I have my own life. That's kind of the way they are over there. So a little bit different, but I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm very happy with the move. I'm very happy with my concrete so far. Got a long ways to go. I'm gonna get to some digging and finish off this concrete project, I guess.